Okay, so it's not the next day, it's the day after the next day. I forgot I had to judge the tractor troubleshooting contest for the FFA, and I wasn't able to pick up my part. So I got all the bolts in now, and I'm just ready to bleed it and try to see if it'll start. Hopefully it starts and runs perfect. I still have to hook up the kill switch, but I can do that after I bleed it or whatever. So I'll start bleeding. I don't know if I'll be able to do it or not. I got this cable's broke and loose, and the batteries are probably drained a little bit. And I think if the batteries weren't drained, I think the solenoid was going bad, because it would turn over and just kind of click and do some weird stuff. So I might have to change the solenoid on it. But I'll try all that, and when it seems like it's going to fire up, I'll turn the camera on. You guys can see the first time it's been fired up with the new injection pump. Alright, I got fuel dripping out of the injection lines, and I got the charger on it. I've let it charge for about an hour or so, and hopefully it'll hit here in a second. I got a line leaking down there. Let me tighten that up and I'll come back to you. I tightened it. It's still leaking, but it's about ready to fire. I thought it was. I don't understand why this line's leaking. Let me let it charge up a little bit. Try it again. Alright, I think the washer got crooked on that one, is why it was leaking. I loosened it up and tried it, see if it'll quit leaking. It's running, but I got it leaking like a sucker right there. Huh, I don't know why that's leaking. It is beyond me. I don't think any of these are leaking up here anymore. Let me take that off and put one of the old washers on it. See if that changes anything. Well, it's running. It seems to be running pretty good. I put an old washer where it was leaking, and it seemed to quit leaking. Don't look like any of the other ones are leaking anywhere. Alright, so we had it running for a while. It was still giving me some fits running. It was showing the same symptoms it did when it quit running the first time. It would run for a little while and then it would just fall on its face. Have no throttle response or nothing. And we it had a little bit of air in the top of that filter. Let the air out, and just for the heck of it, we went and blew air back through that line, and it run perfect. And then it died once, and we fired it back up and it run good. So I don't know if it was just some air bubbles still in the system, or what it was. So tomorrow I'm going to get it out and run it around the yard, let it run for a while and see how it does. If it still does it, then at least we know the injection pump's not the problem because it's brand new. That pump's brand new. We thought, because that old pump went bad, and we figured that that's caused the injection pump to go bad, because if that little primary pump fails, it will not send enough fuel to the pump and it'll wear it out faster, or something along the lines of that. It'll make it go bad faster. And I think the pump was going bad on this tractor because it would walk on you. At low idle, it would just idle up and down, and if it didn't die and then running it in the field, you'd run it at what you think was wide open, and then all of a sudden that sucker would just pick up and take off, and then it would idle back down. And it's walked, the throttle's walked ever since we got it. We changed the filters on it. It made it a little bit better when we first got it, and it just still walked on you quite a bit. And this past year, or the year before, it was real bad. It would walk on you. And then I was planting beans with it and got halfway through the field, and I stopped to take a picture. And the picture's in one of my videos, the farming 2016 video. I took that picture and I walked across the field and came back, and the tractor wasn't running anymore. So I got on, fired up, and did 10-15 more rounds, probably another hour's worth of work, and I got off of it, checking the drill, and it just died. Fired it up, throttled it up, went about 20 feet, and it died again. Fired it up, throttled it up, let it run, and it just died. So I said, this ain't good. So I started it up and let it run, and got the drill up. It barely had enough power to pick the drill up. And unhooked the drill, and I went and got the other tractor you'll see in that video is an International 806 from the school. And I used it to finish planting. But I had to take this tractor and get it home, and my dump truck and trailer was out there at the field. I had my excavator out there to do some clearing, and the truck was still out there. And it took me about 5 times to get it over to the truck. It'd drive for about 20 feet and die. And it took me twice to get it up on the trailer. I got it halfway up and it died on the ramps. Fired it up and got it on there. Brought it home. I backed the thing right up to the door, and it took it 2 tries to get in the door there. And then I put the pump on it today, fired it up, and it run a lot better. It would run longer at an idle than it would before, and it would idle for a while at high idle, but then it would slowly die, and then it got better each time. So I don't know if it was just air bubbles or not. We'll find out. I'll run it for a while, and if it continues, I'm going to change the fuel filters and try it again. And if it does it more after that, we're draining the tank and checking the tank for any drugs in it. But I'm hoping the problem doesn't continue. So, but it run good after we did all that stuff to it. It did have a lot of air in the top fuel filter there, so that could have been a problem, because it'd been sitting here for like a month without the pump in it, and that line wasn't capped, and it was slowly weeping fuel across the floor. You can see how it's wet there. or had been wet. It weeps a little bit of fuel, and I'm not saying it didn't drain that. So it still has just a little moisture coming from one of these lines. I don't know what it is. I'm going to let it sit for a while. I'm going to run it and then tighten them up every so often. I think them new washers have to sit for a little while. Because if you look at the old ring, or the old washers that are in there, they kind of have a ridge. This one, not so much. Let's see if I can find another one. They have a little ridge on them. I can't believe how good this camera is. You can't really see it that well. Some of them had little ridges on them. And the new ones are completely flat. But I don't have any lines up here leaking as of yet. This one, it's got the new bolt in it, but when it had the old bolt in it, it backed out on me one time, and you can see how dirty the block is there and everything. It was leaking fuel on me, and it was like 2 turns loose. So, but there's the story on the tractor, and I'll keep you updated. I'm just letting the barn air out now. If the lights were on, you could see how smoky it was. We got one rabbit of my brother's in the barn, and we don't want to choke it out. So, but tomorrow I'll probably do some cleaning and get this thing out. I'm gonna let it run for a while and driving around, and I'll get some videos of that. So, thanks for watching.